Okay, and I have a question from a neurotypical wife, and she states, my husband with ASD level 1 is almost completely heartless dealing with our children. He's rude and mean and sometimes verbally aggressive. Is it common for people with autism to have no empathy, and will this verbal aggression become more violent over time? Well, the lack of demonstrated empathy is possibly the most dysfunctional aspect of Asperger's or high-functioning autism. But I do use the term demonstrated empathy for a very important reason, and I want to be very clear about this. It's not that people on the autism spectrum have no empathy. They do. Rather, they often give the impression that they do not care about other people. However, this is due to their mind blindness, alexithymia, executive function deficits, anxiety, and even sensory sensitivities, and has little to do with their ability or willingness to have feelings for others. Now, that's no excuse to be verbally aggressive towards the children, though. People on the autism spectrum experience difficulties in basic elements of social interaction that could include lack of social and emotional reciprocity, impaired nonverbal behaviors, for example, making eye contact, noticing facial expressions of others, the posture and gesture of others, and so on. Also, failure to seek shared enjoyments or achievements with others is common. And lastly, it's not uncommon for these individuals to fail to develop long-term close relationships, with the exception of very close family members. People on the autism spectrum are usually withdrawn around others unless they're talking about their special interest or it's work-related. The individual on the spectrum may engage in a one-sided, long-winded speech about his favorite subject while misunderstanding or not even recognizing that the listener's not even paying attention. This social awkwardness has been called active but odd, and this failure to react appropriately to social interaction may appear as disregard for others' feelings and may come across as insensitivity, selfishness, and even narcissism. The cognitive ability of people on the autism spectrum often allows them to articulate social norms in a laboratory context where they may be able to show a theoretical understanding of others' emotions. However, they typically have difficulty acting on this knowledge in fluid, real-life situations. People with the disorder may analyze and distill their observation of social interaction into rigid behavioral guidelines and apply these rules in awkward ways. For example, forced eye contact, which can result in a demeanor that appears rigid or even socially naive. Also, in childhood, they desire to have companions and fit in with their peers, but that desire often becomes numbed through a history of failed social encounters through childhood, adolescence, and into adulthood. Now, regarding verbal aggression, in a nutshell, what you're dealing with here has a lot more to do with the traits of the disorder than it does with your husband's inability to empathize with his children. But, and this is a big but, having mind blindness, alexithymia, executive function deficits, anxiety, sensory sensitivities, and so on does not give him a license to be verbally aggressive towards his children. And to your husband and the other autistic husbands out there that are listening, children are safe targets, and it's very cowardly for you to pick on somebody smaller than you. You wouldn't treat a man your age, your height, your weight the way you treat your kids, now would you? It's the cowardly, wimpy thing to do. It's the most immature behavior that you can resort to vent towards safe, innocent, vulnerable targets like children. And karma will have something to say about that at some point. So you may think you're getting away with that. You are not.